Blake Skyfield back for more Group 1 glory this weekend. How is the good horse?
Yeah, look, he's very well. You know, his training's been terrific after his last run. He spent some time in Chungfa and he came back and I galloped him on the grass and he had a nice trial and I couldn't be happier with how he's going into the weekend. He feels in tip-top order.
Just to touch upon that trial first off, Blake, obviously a good trial, beat the stablemate Sky Darcy. He looked to be in top form in that. Did that go to plan? Were you and the team very happy with the trial?
Yeah, look, Casper was really happy and I was really happy with the horse. You know, the 1200 metre trials on the dirt, they can go quite slow and they went slow in the trial and he wanted to get on with the job a bit early, so I just had to contain him, but he come back underneath me and you know, he quickened down really nicely, had a bit in hand, and I was just wrapped with how he felt, and yeah, I'm looking forward to what he can do on the weekend.
And that gallop on I think it was the 18th of January, he galloped. I mean, to the sort of the untrained eye, that looked very good as well.
Yeah, Nick, he's going terrific. Like I say, he's an elite sprinter. I feel he's arguably one of the best in Hong Kong, and yeah, hopefully he can, you know, win this Group 1 on his merits on the weekend and prove that he's the best sprinter in Hong Kong.
Blake, he's been very lucky with the barriers. I mean, for a sprinter, you want to obviously go the shortest way round. He's drawn gate number 1 for the 6th time in his career. Small field, how do you envisage sort of the race playing out from the inside?
Yeah, it is an interesting race. You know, barrier 1, like for me, it's not ideal for a horse like Skyfield. You know, he likes to settle back. You've got to rely on pace and you have to rely on trying to get out. So I'd like to draw middle, that would be perfect, and then bring him to the outside like we won that 1400 metres at the back end of last season. That would be the perfect scenario. But barrier 1, like I said, we're relying on different variables to happen for us. But this race, I think they're going to go quick and he's probably going to be in the last 3 and it's just a matter of trying to get out. But if it falls right for him, you know, he's got the capacity to sprint really quickly, and if it does fall right, I think he's going to go very close.
And just going back to the point you made about the 1400 metres, is he a horse that's continuing to sort of mature nicely with age? I mean, he just seems to keep elevating his performances always.
He does. I still believe we haven't reached the ceiling with him. He's a quirky horse and he's quite a rebellious type. And I think the more mature he gets, the more he's wanting to sort of come our way with his training and also his application to his racing. And that's just going to keep, you know, enhancing his level, and I think he's got more upside to come.
Joe, Beauty Live was a horse that you rode on debut, ran a super third, was staying on quite nicely and goes up in trip this weekend.
Yeah, and I guess he's going to appreciate that. As you said yourself, his first run was very good. He got far back. Looks like he wasn't going to go anywhere on the bend, but he picked up at the finish and he ran home very nicely. So with that step up in distance, that might be the key to get him to win his first race.
And I know, given obviously, as you say, on the bend, it was noticeable that you had to sort of ask a question of him. I mean, it might not have been necessarily a positive on that occasion, but I guess going forward, it's certainly something that can sort of work in his favour, I suppose, going up in trip.
Yeah. When you get a horse that does what he's done it's their first debut, first race, that indicates to you that they've got ability. You just have to work around with it and then make sure that they do things better in the future. And I think that's going to be the case with this guy this term. He seems like he's going to have a great finishing. He might be able to put himself a little bit closer, so that might just be enough to get him to win his first race.
And just on, obviously, perhaps the running style, to go that little bit closer, is barrier 12 as big a negative on paper as it might be in reality, or are you not too phased?
Gate 12 is always a negative point, but we have to deal with it, and we are going to deal with it the best we can. Not sure where Frank is going to ask me to be in the race with him, but I can say he might be able to put himself midfield better just because we're stepping up in distance.
Joe, Jumbo Fortune is what looks to be a very exciting newcomer this weekend. What have you made of him so far?
Well, what he has done on his trials gives me a lot of confidence he's going to do well here in Hong Kong. He seems to be very straightforward, very solid and strong kind of a horse. He's well built, and I'd be very surprised if he doesn't go well in Hong Kong.
And on his trials, you've ridden him. You've had a good association with him in those trials. What can you take from those in regards to him as a character going into this first race in Hong Kong?
The main point about him, he's got a personality. He's got a character. You wouldn't want to upset him. You want to make sure that you keep him nice and calm, because if he can get upset, he might do things that you wouldn't want him to do so. But if you convert that to like getting him to be eager to get things done right, and he does it, he seems to be very straightforward. He seems to be quite a skillful kind of a horse. He's got a lot of speed. He showed that on his first round in Happy Valley. He came over here to Sha Tin after that to trial, and then he trialed against some really decent horses, and that proves to me that he's got ability. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to finish side by side to some of the best horses in Hong Kong. And apparently he seems ready to go to the races, so I'm quite excited about him.
Just going back and having a look at his Australian racing, Joe, obviously he was sort of taking a lead there. You're drawn in barrier 2. I imagine that's a plus on debut.
It is, for sure. When you get a good gate like that, you should be very happy. But listen, we don't know how he's going to do at the races. I'm just hoping that he does the same that he's done on his trials. If he does, he's likely to be up there. He might lead, he might be just side by side to the leader or just box seat. So what we can say about him, he does have that gate speed that Hong Kong requires.
And just obviously for him as an individual, he is only a 3-year-old. He's got a big weight. He's got a lofty rating as well. So a bit to sort of carry forward there. Would that be any sort of concern, given that he is just a 3-year-old, having to give that weight away?
Honestly, no. Now, because he's, as I said, he's quite solid and strong kind of a horse. The weight is not going to bother him. He's going to be able to carry it.
Vincent, another very exciting weekend coming up for you and your best friend Golden 60. I imagine you're very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, I've been working well, so for sure looking forward to it. Another small field, so, yeah.
And just on that win on International Day, Vincent, take us through that again if you don't mind. Obviously, it was a huge performance. They came to try and take him on. The locals haven't been able to touch him, and the internationals weren't able to either. I mean, it was a super win that day.
Yeah, age of 6, I think he is, even better than before, mentally, physically. So, yeah, it was a good performance that day for sure.
And just on his trial, now he obviously ran 3rd to Wellington in a recent trial. Obviously, there was plenty of excitement around that. Were you and the team very much, pleased with the performance he was able to put on?
Yeah, we just make sure he got a good stretch out, and he feels happy himself, and he always does on the grass. So as long as he's willing to do it, we're happy.
He had a recent gallop with Stock Legend, a stablemate. He came through that very well also. Have all the boxes been ticked now in preparation for the weekend?
Yep, all done for the week. It's just, ready to race.
Is he a horse that's developed with time, Vincent? I mean, you've obviously had a great association with him. You've ridden him throughout his career. Is he a horse that's sort of changed over time? Have you noticed any changes with him, or is he the same Golden 60 that he's always been?
I'd say he matured up. Can't say he changed a lot, but definitely get matured, and not just physically. Every after summer, he get a bit bigger, and mentally he's more mature, settle more. He know what to do in the morning and in the race. So yeah.
And obviously, I can't chat to you without asking about a certain record. Obviously, plenty has been made of it, and rightly so. I mean, this weekend, should he win, he'll equal the great Silent Witness. I imagine you, as a younger man, were watching that horse and thinking, wow, wouldn't it be nice to ride one like him? Any feeling on the record itself, or is that something that you're just taking your stride?
No, no record in my mind at the moment. Just one race at a time.
Derek, Classic Moon was very good on debut. A big price winner on that occasion. Did it nicely. Was that any surprise to you and the team?
Yes and no, and before he trot on the turf is quite good. On the over, he always he scared the dirt. He said he scared the kickback, so he wasn't trot good on the all weather. But on the turf, he trot pretty good, and he win. But he don't have any help out. He quite smooth in that race, and he get clear one in the stretch, so he wins quite easy. And this time he carried the top weight. And in the morning, it seems like he's still improving. And on the future, he felt like 14 or even a mile.
And just on his work in the morning, he's had a recent trial as well with some pretty good types. Were you and Chris happy with that performance?
Yes, before he wasn't trial good on the all-weather, but last time he tried is pretty good against with the good horse, so we are happy.
And just obviously where you're drawn, you were drawn wide that day, but as you say, you came down the outside and you did it all on his own, sort of, widest of all. You're drawn 13 this time around. Is the plan very much the same, to sort of come with that late swooping burst if you can?
Yeah, I haven't talked with the trainer yet, but I did it with the same like last time because he don't have too much early speed, so it should be a little bit similar.
You mentioned the trip, Derek. Obviously, he remains at 12. You strongly feel that he's a horse that will get further in time? I mean, he's from a good staying family.
I deeply believe he is a mile horse.
And obviously, just looking ahead, obviously a horse like him, very progressive. I imagine they're always nice to sit on these horses because he probably still got plenty more to give, hasn't he, this guy?
Yes. He only first one, so he, of course, he still have improved. And just this time try to get smooth like last time and try to be finished.